Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rosa. This is Haley. This is
Sabrina.
And if this is the first time you're seeing my face, then welcome. It's so nice to have you. In today's video, clearly I am not alone. I have two of my best friends here with me today, and we're gonna be answering a Q&A for you guys. You guys asked us some friendship related questions on my Instagram, and I thought, who better to answer these questions with than two people that I love so freaking much, that I've like attracted into my life, and they are such blessings to me, and truly just soul friends. So I'm really excited for this video today and for you guys to hear these beautiful women's. Yes.
You're ruining my hair. I'm good.
Like, you want to hold hands? Thank you. Yeah, so we got 6 questions here today. I'm just gonna jump right into it, and we're gonna answer the questions for you guys. So the first question is how to find soul-aligned friendships or attract soul-aligned friendships. And I kind of wrote these as like 2 separate questions because I feel like finding and attracting are a little different, because one is like a physical action that you take, like actively going out, like where do I actually look to find these friends, and then the other is like how do I energetically get into a vibrational match of the friendships that I truly deserve and desire to attract into my life.
That's a good separation.
So the first thing that I want to say in regards to this question is that it all starts within you. Your internal state is what attracts your external reality, right? Law of Attraction 101, like attracts like. So whatever you are like is what you will see reflected back to you in your reality.
And I think to energetically attract too, like you need to know what qualities like you want in friendships. Like what do you actually want in a friendship? Because I feel like a lot of people want, friends, but it's like, what do you actually like? What do you guys want to do together? Like, what kind of characteristic traits do you want them to have?
Yeah.
What do you want them like? Get kind of clear on like who do you want to attract to? Because I think energetically, like the more you focus on that, the more you will attract that too. Like when you focus on, you attract. I think you really have got to get clear on like who exactly it is that you want.
Yes.
Like how you want the friendship to be. Even like how do you want the dynamic to be. Stuff like that.
Because people don't get specific and they attract the same things from the past. Like if you want new friendships, elevated friendships, you can't not choose what you want. You have to write it down, script, journal, whatever it is that you want. What do you guys want to do? How are they going to be, like you said? And then it will attract more because you're specific on what you want instead of unconscious patterns of the past friendship.
Yeah, and on that note, I think that it's super important to, like, in order to get your energy in the right place to attract someone else into your life, and friendships are just like any other relationships in our lives, right? Like relationships with our spouses or partners, parents, siblings, whatever, it's all relationships, right? And I think that the first thing that we need to do as individuals trying to manifest better people in our lives is to work on ourselves first, because everyone is a reflection of us. And I think that self-awareness piece, like knowing what our wounds are, knowing what it is that we need to work on, knowing, like you said, what it is that we want in friendships and to see reflected in other people, to first work on ourselves, get ourselves to be that person that we want to attract, to get ourselves to feel the way we want to feel when we have the thing that we want to attract, right? So
yeah, and I think like radical honesty with yourself. Like you want good friends, but like are you genuinely a good friend? Like do you have the qualities that you want to attract?
Yes.
And
are you that person?
Are you
writing
that
about?
person?
Like focusing on your energy first before focusing too much on like what you want from others. Like, are you that person yourself?
Yeah.
Love that.
That's a good one.
So how do we actually find these friends?
Should we say how we met?
Yeah, I think that we should start with how we met.
Yeah.
So we actually are in a group chat of a close-knit circle of 6 girls, and we actually all met online. So this is like for the most part, yeah. It's kind of really divine how it all came to be, and maybe we'll do another video one day of the entire story. But basically we all met online because we were doing like similar things. Life coaches, YouTubers, content creators,
Entrepreneurial.
Yes. In the self-development, spiritual, mindset, health niches. And just like having mutual goals that we were striving for, we all kind of just came together and found each other that way. So I guess
connected on that.
Yeah. So online for us was a big space that we were able to connect with each other, find each other. Did you want to say something? You look like you're trying to say something.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna go into it on how to find real quick, because me and her, we met because we both have YouTube channels, and then you and Nat met because you're in the same life coach group, right?
Yeah, we actually, our friend Nat like slid in my DMs, and she slid she slid on my DMs too, and that's how we started talking. And at first it was kind of more like small talk, like,
hey girl,
like I like what you post, like that kind of stuff.
So if you guys do that and you're like, does that actually evolve and turn into anything? Yes, it definitely can.
Yes.
So put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there. Yeah, and I think, you know, sliding into those people's DMs, like, shoot your shot. Like, girls can genuinely be so nice.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us can have wounding around that, like, oh, like, are we gonna get rejected? But like, the worst thing that could potentially happen is them not respond, or like, but it's like, it's so much more worth it to like shoot your shot. Are you trying to say something? No, go ahead.
Raise my hand. So the key in how to find their friendships and your soul friendships is to do what you love. Because we were all doing what we love. Like, we met on YouTube. We're both doing what we love. So you connect with people that are doing what they love. Coaching, business, spiritual space. And from that
like-minded
energy,
people doing like-minded things.
Yeah. And I think really like staying authentic to yourself too. It goes like hand in hand with that.
Yeah. And being vulnerable and like opening up, and sometimes making the first move and just going for it.
Yeah. And we all so we all met either like through Instagram or through YouTube.
Yeah.
And we all just started talking. Long story short, we all ended up putting a like group chat and Snapchat groups together of like-minded girls that we knew, and we all just like clicked so well, and we saw so many like parallels and synchronicities with each other. Like, we definitely are like a soulmate group connection for sure.
Definitely feel like we've shared like past lives together
100%.
and just connect on all the levels. And even if we don't fully agree on some things, or we have different perspectives, we'll talk about this later in the video, but like, we all just have so much love and respect and mutual understanding, and just such a deeper connection than like letting any like pettiness come in between us. Yes.
Sorry. We're 12 minutes in. We're on question number 1.
Oh my god. All right, so that was the first question. Hopefully we answered your guys' question. Actually, just want to throw in real quick. If you want to, like, for me personally, I found that like keeping it strictly in the DMs is like one level of friendship, but then if you want to take it further, like, ask to FaceTime the person, ask to like get on a call, because I know that's how all of us got closer, is because we started FaceTiming, because then you get to really feel the person's energy and like who they are, and then evolve the friendship like that. Like, we're all in long distance friendship relationships, but it works because we communicate a lot through like Snapchat videoing each other back and forth, and we get on like monthly FaceTime calls, and then we meet up in person. So I feel like that kind of like in-person interaction is also really important. So just ideas.
The in-person interaction, just like to finish that up, like texting, I feel like is superficial. I feel like you can only feel but so much connection with that person. I think voice notes are like another level up, just to like build more of a connection with like the people, like the friends that you meet online. Like, send voice notes, like get to hear like the kind of tonality of their voice, and like all of that. I feel like that like builds deeper relationships. And then like, you know, call them, get like their Snapchat and send like video snaps, like just keep up with them that way, and then like meet up and like go to events together. And like also to find friends that you like go to, like, if you're into personal development, like go to a personal development event, go to like a sound healing event,
yoga like, classes,
go places where you think
the gym, and just put yourself out there. Like, how are you gonna know if you don't, you know, go up to a person and just like start conversing? And then like, if you have like blockages there of like fear of going up to people, or like getting rejected, or whatever it is, like just ask yourself, like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You know, like, really, like, would you want to like stay stuck in like the fear and the paralysis of like not putting yourself in those positions, and then you just don't have the friends that you want? Or are you gonna put yourself in uncomfortable positions, but then like being able to manifest and attract people? Like, you really never know, you know, what could come out of those instant moment like conversations. So all right, so we're gonna move on to the second question, which is what does healthy friendships look like? I think this is a super important question, because a lot of people will settle for friendships that are not serving them, because they don't know what a healthy friendship is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So would anyone like to start on that?
I feel like number one things is respect and honesty with the other person. Like fully respecting anything that may come up for them, and like any wounds that may come up for them, being able to fully respect that, being able to look at your friends like non-judgmentally,
And with open communication.
being able to like be honest with like anything that may come up for you, and not letting like any resentment build up, not letting like jealousy get in the way, or like any little thing that might come up. I feel like in so many, especially like girl friendships, there's so much resentment or like gossip or like some kind of like tension. Some kind of like tension
Jealousy.
between you guys. But like a healthy relationship doesn't have any kind of really of that tension. Like if there is,
Well,
like it's
not necessarily that it doesn't have,
Right.
but that we're able to effectively communicate through it and understand that we are not our wounds, like because we do each have that self-awareness like we spoke about in the beginning. We understand how to communicate, how we want to be treated as friends, and how we naturally are in friendships.
Healthy relationships also, I feel you have to have deep core values. This is with friendships like anything. I feel like the core values have to be the same in a way. Like you have to share something that you're both passionate about, like personally, because I feel like that's how you develop a relationship as well. And let's say someone's like against one of your deep values. I don't know how much fully you can like grow with that. Like for example, we all value spirituality. And like that we bond through and grow through and can help each other in that realm. But let's say one of us like wasn't spiritual or something, like how can I connect with that person fully, deeply, you know? Because that's like one of the things that I'm passionate about.
And we talk about it like all the time. It's like
Yeah.
kind of the
has-
roots of everything is like constantly wanting to be better and constantly wanting to
Like
deepen
grow and
our
evolve.
understandings. Like
Yeah.
whenever one of us has like a new revelation, like we all want to hear it. We all want to
Sure.
talk about it. So I feel like that is like really like the foundation of our friendship.
Yeah. And like wanting to grow together too.
Yeah.
Like we can be completely different, but as long as we have like a deep value in common, I think that's a healthy relationship instead of like surface level. Because I feel like sometimes surface level can be like unconscious, or you might attract things from the past. But when you like decide, like we said in the beginning, on your self-awareness and like your values that you have, and you raise your standard in relationships, then you attract healthy relationships.
Yes. All right, so we're gonna move on to question number 3, which is how to resolve conflicts when they come up in friendships. So conflicts are going to come up, just like any relationship, friendship, any type of interaction you're gonna have with another human. There's gonna be some conflicts because we all like grew up with different perspectives and different beliefs on the world that shape the way that we view the world, and stuff's gonna come up in that. So I guess the first thing I can think of, like at least in our friendship relationship, like I said, we have very open communication. We're very transparent with each other. If something's coming up, we're always going to say, you know, we're going to speak our mind. But what's really important, I think, is first checking in with yourself and taking accountability for your part in whatever the conflict is. So let's say, for example, one of us has a strong opinion about something and the other one has a very strong opinion about something, and you know, we both are very sure about our opinions. How do we resolve that? So in our friendship dynamic, what we'll do is we'll first just become aware that like both perspectives can be true. I think we all have that like mutual understanding that like all truths are true, and what's true for me may not be true for you, and that's okay. So like having that respect, I think, right? Respecting that person views what they do and not trying to change their perspective. Actually, what me and another friend in our group did is when we felt the need to be right, we would literally just say like, I'm feeling the need to be right now, like let's drop this, because we just kind of weigh like what is an important thing to ruminate on, or what is not worth, you know, continuing the conversation on, because we clearly have different perspectives. So it's like, just weighing like what's actually worth investing our energy into and, you know, actually fighting about. And most of the time, it's just like little things that we just like can communicate out calmly, effectively, and we don't really get reactive with each other. Yeah, and if we do, we catch ourselves like right away. But yeah, what do you guys have to say about that?
Well, that goes on with the self-awareness too. Like number one, like everything always stems back to number one, like being self-aware and like understanding your insecurities and your wounds too. Because I feel like if you don't do that, you'll unconsciously project, and to be able to communicate healthy and like in arguments and stuff, it should never get to a fighting level, like a fighting fire with fire, because that's just like lashing out. It's not going to get anywhere. So coming from a space of like, give me a second to collect my thoughts, and then coming from a place of like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and trying to just dive into that.
And we all just filmed a video on my channel too, all talking about healing friendship wounds, and we'll leave the link in the description below. But we were talking about in that one too of when you have like something that comes up for you, something that triggers you, something that doesn't feel right to you, instead of going to another person saying like, you did this, you did that, and like, I feel this way because of something that you did, instead like come from a place of like, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling that way, like the thing that you did made me feel this way, and taking responsibility for your own feelings, because your triggers are your triggers. Like, it's not because of them, like they came up within you. And I think taking that responsibility and having the self-awareness and accountability to be able to like take ownership of that is really huge. And I think it's what has made our friendships like so strong, of being able to say, of being able to like not project in that way and take responsibility for like our own shit.
And because we know each other's hearts, like we know, you know, our hearts are we always mean well. We will say to each other like, I know this was most likely not your intention, but this is how I feel, and like, can you please explain your perspective, or like not automatically jumping to like, this person's out to get me, or like, you know, like, because, and that all has to do with the way that we're perceiving the thing that happened, right? So yeah, I think just giving each other the benefit of the doubt because we know each other's hearts, and because we know that, you know, most likely that like 99.99% of the time it was not their intention to you know, hurt each other.
Of course.
Agreed.
So not everyone's perfect too, so don't put people on a pedestal that they have to be perfect, as well as yourself. Like, you can be reactive, but just like give yourself space too to process the emotions first before lashing out on someone.
Being able to pause when you feel triggered, when you feel like reactive, being able to have like that golden space to pause before you react, and being able to catch yourself and respond, to be like, how do I actually feel, what's actually going on, what is this actually stemming from? I feel like that's like really important too when there is conflict.
All right, so we're gonna do one more question. This will be the last question, which is how to know if your friends are right for you / how to know when it's time to let go of a friendship.
Yeah, that's our question.
We'll tell you.
Dramatic pause. I think a lot of girls have doubts, like if their friendships are, if they could find better friends than what they have. I think a lot of people aren't satisfied with the friendships that they have. They might have a lot of like superficial ones. And I think if you are really doubting that your friends are right for you, say that you have like really like superficial relationships, there's always gossip, like you're not liking the conversations, they start to like, you guys start to have different interests, like say that you start like bettering yourself and you're like not really into going out drinking, but they still are, and you guys like aren't really on the same path anymore. I feel like that's a good indicator of being like, you know, we aren't really aligned. And truly, and like, this isn't to say that the person is a bad person whatsoever, and it's not to say like they did anything necessarily wrong, but I think it is best for everyone. Like, if you guys if like friends in general like aren't on the same path anymore, I think it's really important to like not keep someone in your life that isn't
serving you. Or serving where you're going.
If you guys are going in different directions, it's kind of like you guys are straining to stay together for what reason.
And that doesn't mean that like some big falling out has to happen where you're like, I'm not your friend anymore, and then like a fight has to happen. I think that it can just be like you just go in separate ways, and that just, you know, allow there to be love there, and respect for each other on your path. You know, I have a lot of friends in my life where we're just, you know, we're friends, but we don't see each other all the time. And I think that's beautiful too, is like just having different like levels of friendships and different, just understanding, like you may see some friends more than others, and maybe that's just because you like different things, you like to do different things together. It really just like, you have to, I feel like with these kind of things, trust your intuition, and also go by, how do you feel with this person that you're with? Like, do you feel anxious all the time? Do you feel like they're draining your energy, or do you feel like they're adding to your life in some way.
Yeah, that's big. Like, are they draining your energy or are they adding to your life? Like, are they rooting for you to like grow, or are they being like, no, let's go party? Like, no, like,
like, are you afraid to share your milestones with them? I think that's a good question to ask.
And
or if like if you feel drained after you hang out with them.
And I think it's also important to, like, you know, just because maybe you or another person don't completely align on every single level, like I think that doesn't mean that you should just give up on the friendship and not be friends with them. I think that like each person that's in our life is in our life for a reason and is there to teach us something. So I think that like that's why this is kind of hard to answer. It's kind of like answering the question like when to break up with my partner. It's like you have to also like trust your intuition in that way of like, you know, if this relationship is just no longer serving you in your life to a point where like you really have to just cut it off. And you know, a lot of times cutting something off it can be scary, but it makes room for the new. Like there was a point in my life about 2 years ago where, you know, I moved out of the country and I just kind of lost touch with a lot of people that I was friends with in high school, and you know, we're all friendly and whatever, like there's no beef, but like, you know, we just go our separate ways, and like that's totally fine. But I think by like making that move and making that decision to kind of like separate myself a little bit, I was able to open myself up to being like, okay, I'm ready to like start putting myself in positions where like I'm welcoming in new friendships, you know? And there was a period of time where I felt like I had like, you know, little to no friends.
Me too.
Yeah, I feel like all of us went through that like phase of just feeling like I have no one, and if you're in that place, like we empathize with you and like just know that it can and will get better, and you just need to focus on like who are you and what do you need in a friendship, and just like making room for that.
And don't get so fixated on time too, because like I was in a friendship for 10 years, but we both outgrew each other, and outgrowing doesn't mean like, oh, one person's going down the right path or
no
you know,
judgment.
it just means like you're both going down your own path, and you can't be so fixated on like, oh, but we were friends for this long, but now I don't feel this way, like, but I feel like I should be friends with them because of this many years. You don't put yourself on that time basis, because friendship doesn't have time to it. Like, you can connect so deeply in the first hour meeting.
Longevity does not equal quality, and I think a lot of people hold on to friends just because they've been friends with them for X amount of years. But it's like coming down to how do you feel about them, coming back to those same questions of like, or how do you feel with them, and like are you guys really benefiting each other in like the self-growth journey and like evolving as people? Like, are you guys really like benefiting each other, or is it just kind of like strained just because you guys have been friends for X amount of years?
So yeah, that is all for us in this video, guys. I hope you got value out of it. If you did, please hit a like down below and a comment letting us know what was the most valuable thing you got out of this video. Hit that subscribe button for new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and without further ado, I'll see ya in my next one. Bye!